what's the most important thing? And I'm going to give you some specifics in some different areas, but this is so important. I want to make sure I get this out right near the beginning. Is, from my perspective, the most important thing that I can share with you today about being a woman is taking time to rest and renew yourself. Hi, I'm Denise Linn, and welcome to Empowering Women. I am honored and delighted to have this time with you. As always, I like to start with just a really short time of attuning before we begin, and then we'll jump right into our time together. If you would join me by just taking a deep breath, hold, and now exhale. And again. And as you do this, continuing to take very deep and full breaths, imagine in the center of your chest, called your heart chakra area, there's a beautiful radiant sun. And it's just shimmering out into the world, out to each of the others that are here. And know that all that you send out comes back to you tenfold, nay, 100-fold. May blessings, light, and love fill your day and all your days to come. So be it. Well, I was so honored when Hay House invited me to speak at this conference because the journey to stepping into the depth of what it means to be a woman is something very close to my heart. So I'm going to give you a brief background of how I came to walk this path, and then give you some tools that you can use every day to enhance that journey for yourself. And we're going to also have a short meditation as well. When I was young, I didn't know that there was a difference between male and female. I mean, I knew there were boys and there were girls, but I just thought basically we were the same. And I used to play, when I was 7 years old, I used to play baseball with, a bunch of the guys in the neighborhood. And I remember this moment so vividly. I got up to bat, and the ball was coming. Sometimes in life, things seem slow motion. It was like slow motion. And when I hit it, there's this wonderful sound when you really nail that ball. If you've ever played baseball, you know what I'm talking about. And that ball sailed over everybody's head and went over the fence way at the back. Nobody had ever hit a ball that far before. Now, I thought, these were all my friends. I thought they were going to jump up and down and cheer me. And instead, there was this total silence. And then the pitcher yelled, "Well, you're just a stupid girl." And then someone else said, "Yeah, you're just a stupid girl." And I can remember thinking, well, wait a minute. There's two sexes, and what they're telling me is there's one that's not as good. There's one that's really good, the boys, and one that's not as good. And it was just shocking to me, shocking that there was a difference. I literally left the baseball field. I ran home, raced up the front steps, found my mother, and I said, "You never told me. You never told me that there were two sexes and one was good and one was bad. And I'm the bad one. I'm the inferior one." And, a modern mother, she says, "Oh, honey, it's just the way it is." And, went back to cleaning and taking care of the house. And I was left with this devastation. I was just devastated, like, God, I'm not the good one. So then I started to think, you know what? I'm going to show them. So I got really competitive. I would be in races, and I would work out with the boys' track team, which they didn't like, but I would win. And whatever it was, I would do bigger and better because I was going to show them I wasn't the inferior sex. But then it came dating. And I had friends say, "Denise, if you want guys to like them, you have to let them win." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I remember playing pool, and I was a pretty good pool player. And I'm thinking, "Oh, I want them to like me." So I would let the guys win, and it worked. It was like, okay, if you want to date, you've got to be a little inferior. But then I got to college, and in college, the women's movement, this was in the 60s, the feminist movement was kind of rising up. And I used to be at marches, and I get tear gassed and pepper gassed. And we used to chant, "Male chauvinist pig, male chauvinist pig," and walk down the streets yelling, this male chauvinist pig. And I wore military outfits and I felt tough, took karate. Then I had a spiritual teacher, and the spiritual teacher said, well, Denise, if you want to be spiritual, you have to drop all of that behind. You have to become very feminine, and you have to serve, you have to serve men. But he made it sound good, like they will in turn energize you, blah, blah, blah. So I went, okay, I want to be spiritual. So I got a bunch of those Laura Ashley dresses. I don't know if you remember those. And then these little Mary Jane shoes, they have the little tiny pearl button on them. And so I'm wearing the dresses and trying to be oh so feminine. And there was a part of me that actually I liked not being so aggressive. It felt good. But after a while, I just felt this sense of constriction. And I started a journey. I thought there's got to be something more. What does it mean to be a woman? Why am I here in this female body? What am I here to learn? What can I gain by being a woman? Literally, when I found out there were two sexes and I was the female, it was the worst day of my life. When I was 7, I can't remember a worse day than that day. I was the inferior one, and it was never going to change. But along the journey, I found the glory and the pleasure of being a woman. And I get on that journey, I started spending time in Native cultures. Now I'm Native American on my mother's side. On my father's side, he'd say, yeah, but you're Scottish too. But I have an affinity with the wisdom of those in Native cultures. And I was invited by the Pittenjar Women's Council. And these are the Aboriginal women that live near Alice Springs, Uluru, or what the Westerners call Ayers Rock. And they invited me down to come to a corroboree. And that it was out at a corroboree is like a gathering. And it's way out in the middle of the outback. I mean, you can't even tell there's roads. It looks like just desert in all directions. But the person driving me there obviously knew how to get there. And when we get there, and it's dusty and it's hot, and the sky is so blue, and they invited me to dance with them. But first I had to be decorated. And every decoration has a different meaning for the different kind of dance that's going to be done, for the different kind of energy they're going to call in. And in that moment, something shifted. I began to understand that within our DNA is a remembrance of what it truly means to be a woman. And I began to not only spend time in Native cultures, which I found fascinating when I was with the Zulu in Africa. And Credo Mutwa, who's the spiritual head of all the Zulu, he said, Denise, the women have the power. Look to the women. He said, the world is out of balance. But right now, the health, the balance, the future of the woman, of the world depends on the women. And he said, look to the time when there are 40 women who are head of government around the world. And when you see that, you will know that the fortunes of the planet will start to change because we're in really bad shape now. He said, the women are the answer. And then when I was with the Maori in New Zealand, they talked about the power of the women. Listen to the women. The women carry the power. They said, well, we're the ones who are out there that they see, but the true power is the women. And then when I was with the Aborigines, they talked about women's business and how it's the power of the woman that sustained the world. So I began to hear these messages over and over again. And I look back in history. Do you know, it's fascinating. God wasn't always male. Maybe you already knew that. If you go back 2 million years before Christ and forward, God was always a woman. Now, that makes sense, doesn't it? The women, they gave birth, they nurtured the babies, they fed the babies, the children, they grew the food. It made sense that God would be a woman. And then about 5,000 years, the pendulum began to change and God became a male. And it's a very different, childhood when you grow up thinking God's a male or God's a female. I mean, it does influence us. But what I found was interesting is when you look at the history of God, goddess, all that is, 99.75 times of, percentage of our time lineage on the planet, God was a female. 1/4 of 1%, God was a male. So what this suggests, interesting, isn't it? People are like, really? Yeah, God wasn't always a male. That's only in the last few thousand years. For most of human history, God was a female. Now, here's why this is valuable to know. Is you have ancestral memory. We all do. You have a genetic memory. And there's a lot of research that is proving that we do carry the memories, the echoes of our ancestors. And it's my belief that that voice that dwells deep within inside of us as women. Now, incidentally, when I say women, it's an energy rather than a physical form. So you can be, all males have an inner female, all females have an inner male. So when I say man or woman, I'm basically talking about the feminine principle and the male principle rather than the physical body, male and female. But that memory dwells within you. And you can, in quiet times, begin to activate that memory. And why would you do that? Because as you do, it begins this huge surge of life force energy will begin to fill you. The energy of the earth, the energy of the sky, the energy of the trees that have all been part of our heritage as women throughout time. The energy of the natural world will be activated within you. And I'm going to tell you some things you can do within the natural world, the energy of the natural world, to activate that even more. The goddess dwells within you. When I was thinking about this talk, and there were so many things I want to share. Oh, if you're interested, I wrote a book called Secrets and Mysteries, The Glory and Pleasure of Being a Woman. And I'm the founder of the Red Lotus Women's Mystery School. So there's more information available. But I was thinking about all the things I wanted to share. And I thought, what's the most important thing? And I'm going to give you some specifics in some different areas. But this is so important. I want to make sure I get this out right near the beginning. Is, from my perspective, the most important thing that I can share with you today about being a woman is taking time to rest and renew yourself. If you go back in ancient times, go back, to the, caveman, cavewoman time, the male energy was responsible for hunting, bringing back the meat. So how does a hunter work? The hunter goes out and he has to be absolutely focused. He has to be absolutely linear, and he has to keep going forward, letting nothing get in the way until he gets, till he brings back the saber-toothed tiger. The female energy, the woman, she needs to have a panoramic awareness. Where are the roots growing? Where are the vegetables? Where are the kids? It's kind of this panoramic awareness. She also understands the cycles of rest and renewal and energy. When I spend time in Native cultures, in almost every culture, they talk about the idea of when women, in ancient times, women were on their moon time, they would pull back. They would take time to go within. It was a natural cycle. The woman gives during the month, but during her moon time, she pulls in. Maybe you've heard about the red tent in Middle Eastern time. The women would gather in the red tent during their moon time. The elder women and the children will prepare the food while the women rested. In Native American culture, they talk about the moon lodge. The moon lodge is where the women gather to renew their energy. So that cycle of rest renewal was endemic to being female. And that cycle of go was endemic to being a male. The survival of everybody depended on it. But what's happened now, as we've gone so far into this very linear, focused world, is women do not have the opportunity in our culture for rest and renewal. I mean, wouldn't you love to go to work and then when you go on your moon time, the boss says, okay, moon time, take 5 days off. But imagine how good you would feel, how much more energy and life force you would have. But for us as women, being in a culture that is so linear, that is so masculine, that is so focused, it's foreign to our soul and it depletes us. And so I'm going to suggest that to activate the goddess within, to activate that inner force of energy, take time to rest. It's your heritage as a woman. Even if it's a few minutes, it's your lunch break at work, just kind of go off someplace by yourself, close your eyes for 5 minutes. Imagine that you're at a beach and you're listening to the sound of the surf. Even if you can't take time to nap, even if you can't take a few days off every month during your moon cycle, if you're still on your moon time, take the opportunity to rest as often as you can. And in that resting, you will be renewing not just your body, but your spirit, your soul, your connection to the Creator, your connection to the great goddess. It is so important. And also, when you rest and you enter into that quietude, that's when you can hear the voice of spirit. And trust me, in the years that are coming, you really, really will need to and want to listen to the voice of spirit. It's going to be very important to be at the right time and the right place. And as you take that time to rest and listen to the voice of spirit, more and more you will be at the right time and the right place. So, what are some of the things that you can do as a woman to activate this life force energy within you? One thing you can do is create an altar. And altars do not need to be religious. In ancient times, when God was a woman, every house had an altar. The altars were not outside, they were inside. The altar, usually by the fire or where people ate, was a way to call spirit into the home. It was also a way to interface with the divine. As we moved into the patriarchal time, from the matriarchal time, as you know, we were tracked through the male line rather than the female line, as in days of old. As we moved into the patriarchy, the altars moved outside of the house. They moved into the churches. They moved outside, and then there was a male that you had to work with to like the priest, in order to connect to God or the Creator. But during those thousands of years, when God was a woman, the altar was in the home. Even if it's just a simple little shelf, a window in your kitchen, and you put a few objects in there, just to say, I honor the divinity of this day. I honor the divinity of my soul. I honor the divinity of my life path. I am open to receive messages from the Creator. My heart is open. And it can just be a minute or two a day, but somehow creating an altar of things that are meaningful to you. And it doesn't need to look like an altar. Some people are like, I think it's weird. Just, what are those photographs on your piano, but a subliminal ancestor altar, the little icons you have around the base of your computer? That's a subliminal altar. So that's one thing you can do as a woman to begin to activate that remembrance of that time of being a part of all things. Because when you have that panoramic awareness, you are connected to life around you. You are aware of life without you. You are not just an individual pinpoint. You are a part of something vast and gracious and magnificent. That's what doing these few things I'm going to share with you can help you move towards. Something else is the moon. The cycles of the moon. In ancient time, women modulated their life according to the cycles of the moon. Now, modern times, we've lost that connection to the moon. Maybe there's a full moon or a new moon, but a lot of people don't even have a clue. Or maybe you just see it out the window. But if you could, as often as possible, even it doesn't have to be long. These things I'm going to share with you don't need to take a lot of time. Walk outside and honor the moon. When the moon is full, that's the time to activate activities and movement and dance and new projects, kind of get things moving and expand. Rather new projects, I guess, expanding the projects you have. And then when you go into the dark of the moon, that's the time to go within. That's the time to be still. That's the time to watch your dreams. And it's also the time to begin to plant seeds for those projects that you want. Use the energy, the cycles of the moon. It affects the way we have ocean waves because of the moon. It affects the waters in your body. As you honor and look to the moon and connect with the moon, just imagine that your energy is surging up to the moon and coming back to you. As you connect with the energy of the moon, you'll begin to find this sense of a flow filling you. Water. Oh, water is a woman's medicine. In Native American culture, we talk about a medicine bag. A medicine bag carries your power. It's carry your potential for power. Use water for cleansing and clearing. Remember, I talked about the energy of the moon is this constant replenishing of your energy. Here's one thing you can do. I do this all the time. I have these in almost every room. I fill them with water, and you can make moon water. Take some water, put it out. Make sure it's really, it's not, tap water if possible. But if it's tap water, okay, take what you've got. But it's better to get water bottled at source, still water bottled at source, and put that out into the moon. Get some moon water. And then put a little essential oils, and then, and I just spritz myself. And I know that water is just cleansing my energy field. It's cleansing my auric field. And that feels healing and good. Also, showering, and shower with intention, bathe with intention. So it's not just like I'm in the shower, I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat for breakfast, and I'm scrubbing my body. It's being in that shower and holding the intent. Again, it doesn't need to take long. All that is not needed is flowing away. I am bringing in fresh, new energy into my body, into my life. All that is not needed is releasing. I am open, I'm cleansed, I'm clear, I'm whole. So it's just simple little small rituals with water are so beneficial. When you drink water, I should have a glass here, but when you drink water, there's water in here, is you can put your hand over it. See my lipstick there. You put your hand over it, and my first teacher was a Hawaiian kahuna. And she said, we always energize our water. So she said, imagine a rainbow flowing out of your hand, and you're just spiraling it around the water. You're energizing it, and then drink that water. You're drinking the energy of the water. Keep that water flowing. Let's see. I also speaking of cleansing and clearing, I wanted to talk about something that can be so powerful for uplifting your energy and for allowing that goddess to flow within you. And that is space clearing. Now, space clearing, if you trace your ancestry back, all of our ancestors did space clearing. And every culture I've spent time in, and every native culture, with all the studying I've done, every single culture had space clearing. What is it? It's shifting the energy through intent, using tools, if you will. And if just for a little time every day, cleanse your energy field, here, I'll show you. Cleanse your bedroom. It doesn't need to take time. And it's not so much the tool. I'm going to show you a couple tools, but it is the energy and your intent. So this is just a little singing bowl right there. And so I'm going to, I don't know if you can see this here. I'm going to hit it. And then I'm going to bring that sound towards me and out towards you, towards me and out towards you. Or you could take it, use it to cleanse your energy. And you're thinking, well, you're not really grabbing the sound, but you're grabbing that I'm holding that beautiful clarity that I held as I was striking that. I held the intent that my energy field was clear, that I was prepared for whatever the day brought me. And you can, if you're doing a room, you can do that and just start at the entrance into the room and circle, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, a clockwise circle, just ringing the bell. Any place that sounds a little dull, ring it a little bit more. And you can cleanse that room. If you're interested, I do have a course called Elemental Space Clearing to learn some of those methods. Or you can take a bell. And your tool doesn't need to be expensive or majestic. Even the smallest, tiniest, like a little baby bell would work. And again, I don't want this to ring too loud in the microphone. Or you can take it over your energy. I'm going to open my throat chakra a little bit while I'm talking to you. And circling the room. And I wanted to also talk to you. So those are a few things that you can do to kind of uplift your energy, continue to replenish your energy. But I wanted to talk about shamanists, female shamans, medicine women, and their understanding of what it means to be a woman. The shaman, the medicine woman, understands that she is a part of all things. She understands that the mountains rise inside of her, that the rivers course through her veins. She understands that she is not separate from this beautiful, glorious world around us. And she also understands that through her intent, through her prayers, through her clarity, she can impact this vast web of light that she's a part of. Within the journey of being a medicine woman is the understanding of shape-shifting. Shape-shifting is, maybe you've heard of that. It's literally being able to enter into the consciousness of an animal, of a tree, of a stone, and to dissolve your identity so that you enter into that consciousness. This is an excellent way to expand your awareness of self. You have a body, you have memories, you have a past, but in truth, that's not who you are. You are so much more. So you might consider, and you don't need to go take a big, long course in shamanism. You can simply go outside in the woods, put your back up against a tree, close your eyes, and imagine that you are dissolving into that tree. Just dissolve into it. Become the tree. And after a while, you'll be aware of the breeze in your branches and your leaves. You'll be aware of the small insects and the squirrels and the animals, and you'll be aware of your roots deep into the earth. And whenever you can, take the opportunity to shape shift. This will expand your soul, your spirit, expand your heart, and expand your sense of self so that you know more and more that you are a part of the universe. What I wanted to do in closing is and I wish I had more time with you. What I want to do is I want to take you on an inner journey. And this is a goddess journey. For the goddess, the ancient goddess dwells within you. This is a powerful journey for you to activate that goddess, for her to surge through you, and for you to begin more and more to see the world through the eyes of the goddess. The goddess is intuitive. She has the ability to see into the unseen worlds. She has the ability to sense the heart and souls of others. This is the journey. She has the ability to hear spirit guides, ancestors. So please do consider joining me on this very short but powerful journey into the realm of the goddess, the realm of the medicine woman, the shamaness, the realm of the mystic and the seer. To do this, take a very deep breath. Exhale. May the feminine principle, the great goddess within all things, come forward, bringing blessings and peace. Letting go. Just letting go. You can feel your body relaxing. You can feel your breath deepening. You are so much more than what you normally experience yourself to be. Visualize, imagine that before you is a circle of standing stones. You're an opening, a clearing in the forest. You know that this is hallowed land. This is sacred land. You know this is land that the ancestors, the elders have walked for thousands of years. And you feel and sense and know that you've been invited to step into this circle. The instant you step into the circle, you're aware that standing in a circle around you and around these standing stones are women, powerful women, shamanists, medicine women, goddess, priestesses, seers, mystics, oracles, thousands upon thousands of women. They are honoring you in this moment. You can sense and hear their voices within you. You carry our love. You carry our wisdom. We are with you. You are not alone. We support you. We love you. Thank you for all that you do and all that you are. And as you step into the very center of this circle, surrounded by these powerful and gracious women, you can sense there's a vortex in the center, and you can feel that energy swirling up around you and through you. At the same time, cascading down from the heavens is a spiraling energy going down into the earth. You are at that point between the above and the below. more and more, and each and every passing day, you find an intuition, an inner knowing, a profound peace and acceptance of self and others filling you. More and more, you know that who you are is enough, exactly as you are. More and more, the world is a better place because of you, my beautiful goddess sisters. Arm in arm, we walk forward into the future. I am deeply and profoundly honored to be on this journey with you. You have my love and my support, always and forever.